well. So yes, this is FatHedonist, my good old friend. Dude, for people who don't know you, who is FatHedonist? Give me a quick bio.
I'm just a old fat guy who likes to game still.
Ah,
I mean, that's really all it is.
quick and catchy. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Dude, it's good to see you. You know what? It's been a little while. I think you've been on a bit of a hiatus, right? People can check your channel. So I'll leave a link for that here. ODM, hello. Yes, ODM. The gang is here.
ODM.
We're like, it's funny because, you know, what was it, like almost 2 years ago now? We had this, like you, myself, and ODM kind of hanging out. So it's cool to see that it's been, you know, a while there. But dude, tell me about your channel, because I think you're on a hiatus at the moment.
I am. Pretty much, it was a threefold problem that happened. COVID, number one. Number two, my main game, which was Division 2. The devs kind of drove it into the ground, so it was kind of dead. And so I pretty much just stopped playing that. And work. So, and I couldn't, you know, with work and everything else, I couldn't keep up with, you know, with those three things happening. I was like, I'm going to stop until a game comes out that I really want to play.
Yeah.
And then we'll get started back into it. Right now, I'm just kind of waiting on a new PC. That's really what I'm waiting on now.
But you had like a good 2 PC system. So was there something that broke there that you need to replace? Or?
No. This computer that I have, which is a 2700X with a 1080 Ti on water.
Okay.
It's hardline tubing. The big problem is the hardline tubing. It is my main system. Yeah, if you have to do any kind of maintenance, I have to drain the loop, and it takes a day and a half just to do that. So you don't want to do it. And so yeah, it's for a production system. It's not feasible for me. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I need to get a system that's not on water. And I was planning on, this system can't upgrade, or excuse me, let me say this again. When I built this system, it still couldn't drive the monitor that I have because the technology wasn't there at the time.
Right.
Now with the new 30 series cards, it's there. And so this is an upgrade I plan to do when I built this system 2 years ago. I'd already planned to do an upgrade at this time. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, do you feel like you want to go back to streaming, or is that something that's kind of, you know, you've just lost interest?
No, it's definitely the plan.
Okay.
I also, during this hiatus, I as you know, I got into music production.
Yeah, man. And I want to talk about that as well. We can geek out about that.
And so I definitely want to stream that at some point too.
That's super cool, man. Yeah. I've started to slowly introduce some bits of like music production into streams, just to like gauge interest. Because honestly, I don't know how much of a audience there is to that, and certainly the overlap between people who are in Twitch to look at games may be very different than the people who are there to watch something like that. So it worries me a little too, you know?
Oh no, that's being in both worlds now, definitely different audiences.
Yeah.
Definitely different audiences. They are merging. There's a producer that I watch, he's a dubstep producer. And he's just really blown up on Twitch and YouTube.
Oh.
And yeah, it's just since the whole COVID thing, they can't. A lot of DJs and producers can't travel, or do anything else, so they all got on Discord and Twitch, and so kind of a perfect fit. So it's kind of combining. So that audience is I think it's gonna eventually be there.
Yeah, man, I think so. Yeah, nice beard, right, Subi? Fire Rat, Danny, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. So how do you think about that? Because so you're saying you want to do production, but you also play games on your channel.
Yeah.
So are you gonna shift entirely to the music production thing, or are you just gonna mix and match? What's your strategy for that?
Well, first of all, I have to get good enough to where I think I can actually stream something. Because right now I'm a noob. I'm a noob.
But I think that could be a cool thing, right? If you sell it as a journey, like, hey, I'm learning this shit with you, right? And then people tag along, and 3 months from now they look at you and you're doing some really cool shit. It can be, I think, a really cool thing, but it's up to you to like sell it in that way.
Yeah,
Don't be modest about it. Fire Rat, thank you for the bits. Like, when you announce it, dude, and I really hope you don't go, because I know you're like a modest guy. You strike me as a really good guy as well. But don't be too modest. Be like, yo, this is my epic journey of like, learning from scratch how to produce music. Don't be like, I'm casually doing, no, like go all in, man. I want to see you put yourself out there. Yeah.
I kind of go crazy in things.
Yeah, dude, that's one of the things that I found really interesting about you, like looking when we played games together. So we played the Division 2, I think, mostly. Some Borderlands 3.
Right.
But the one thing, like playing with you, it's so different than the way I play, because you go balls deep into a game. And so people understand, you go on for months just learning all the strats, min-maxing, right? How to break the game.
Yeah. Well, not that much, but yeah, I try and I
not like hacking, but just like how to actually have the best damage, for example, right?
Well, I mean, it really comes down to my favorite thing of ever is research. I like to do research.
Yeah,
it is. I've discovered this. I'm a research junkie. So, if I can get in there and I can learn every little bit of it that I can do, and then I can, I basically want to own the game. I want to do everything I can do with the game.
Yeah, people are asking about your music. Could you, if you want, post after in my Discord, we have like an art gallery channel. If you want to just post some of your shit there, because I've enjoyed your tunes and I think people would dig it.
Yeah, I think I got just the one that I sent recently, and then I have.
Now you have a few others. You sneaky bastard.
I was gonna say, you didn't let me finish, man. Let me finish. I have there's two that I would actually post, and that's the one I just sent you. Then there's another one that's an ass shaker, kind of a house dance track.
An ass shaker. And I would
definitely put that out. An ass shaker.
You know what, man?
I'm an old raver, dude.
Put that stuff out there, dude, because a lot of times for me, when I started to post my shit, I was like, waiting until it's the final version and, until I think it's perfect. And you end up taking ages to put anything out there. And you only start to get feedback once you put something out there, right? So I feel like...
I do put it out there for feedback.
Yeah.
Just with producers. And so they can...
Don't be shy.
Tear you apart
don't be
well.
shy, my dude.
They tear you apart. It's a rough game.
All right, so let's talk about games real quick. What have you been up to recently? What are you playing?
Well, I just got the Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
And I am currently geeking the hell out on it. Pretty bad. I had some problems starting out. The Ryzen bug where it's not doing the multi-core. I did a little hack and got that fixed, and so it runs. I'm on medium high on 1080p, and I'm running in the 60s and 70s.
That's
so it's
good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's playable for sure. I know it kind of sucks for you because you have the wide monitor. I'm sure you would love to, get the whole thing, but the game is really demanding. Yeah. Yeah. But dude, I'm happy to hear you've been enjoying it, because I really enjoyed the world. I think it's one of the most dope, like, sci-fi worlds, just like the buildings and everything, looking around.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to play it again with different different choices that I'm doing now.
I have to say,
there's different replayability. Yes.
I've found the different starting, what do you call it, factions, or like I found those to be pretty not significant. So I've been a bit disappointed with that.
I have found the exact opposite.
Because I'm doing a corporal character for my stream and then a nomad character for my offline, right? And I found that it feels a bit rushed. You know, the point where you get to the common starting point, let's say. So each faction has like a little prologue, and then you jump into the main thing. And I found there's very little outside of that you get. And for example, my corporal character, I don't find a lot that she brings unique by being a corporal to the narrative. But it sounds like you have a different opinion. So, you know, give me your 2 cents on that.
I mean, it's opened up a lot of. I'm doing corpo.
Okay. Yeah, corpo gang, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All the monies. Actually, yeah, I found a money hack that I've been working on. Yeah. No, but with the corpo, I've noticed that it's opened up a lot of dialogue stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that's changed some of the. At least I thought it did. I thought it changed some of the game and how it proceeded. So maybe it doesn't, but it appeared to me that it did.
Okay.
So,
I mean, sometimes that's good enough, right? If it feels like it's doing.
I picked the corpo option every time it comes up, so I've been consistently doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm loving the game so far.
Yeah, man. People are asking. I don't know about the consoles. I haven't tried at all. It sounds like it's not really that good on any of the prior gen. So that really sucks. But dude, yeah. I've been having fun as well. You know, for me, it feels like a bit unpolished. And the problem is that I feel that way about many things in the game. So it's not like, hey, if they fix this one thing, it's 10 out of 10 for me. I've actually found like many little things that, I'm not a fan of. You could talk about some of the perks where, to me, they're not super inspiring. There are some cool perks, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them are like, hey, 10% more, gun damage.
Yep.
Sure, I'll take it, but it doesn't really inspire me in a way that maybe Fallout 4 did, where they had some really cool perks that changed a bit the way you played a bit more. Furthermore, the lack of respec for your levels. I know you can respec your perks, but you can't in any way, shape, or form respec your attributes. So if you regret putting points into body or whatever, which I do, you can't roll that back.
Right.
So there are things like that irk me, besides, some of the jankiness that you see in some of the gameplay and, animations and a few of the bugs and stuff. So, but with that said, I think it's still an excellent game. If it's not breaking on your system and you can run it, I'm really enjoying it so far.
I think it's, with CD Projekt Red, when Witcher 3 came out, it was kind of shit too. So,
dude, this is funny. I'm glad you said that, because most people rave about The Witcher 3 as if it's the best RPG game ever. First off, I love Witcher 3, so everything I say after this is in the context of me actually loving the game. But it really isn't much of an RPG, in the sense that when you talk about RPG elements, whether it's the perks, the leveling system, all of that stuff, it's not really like a deep RPG in any way, shape, or form. The perks are a mess, and again, not inspiring at all, to me at least. The inventory management is a mess as well. So to me, it really didn't feel like much of an RPG besides the dialogue stuff, which I thought was good. But I don't know, where do you come down on it?
Believe it or not, I have not played The Witcher 3.
Huh.
I will actually, playing Cyberpunk 2077 has made me think I want to go back and play it.
Yeah, because you're more of a shooter guy, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a pew pew guy.
Yeah, pew pew.
So the Cyberpunk is giving me it gives me an outlet for that. So
yeah,
it's more like a Fallout in that way.
Are you playing in hard difficulty, normal? What are you doing?
Right now I'm playing in normal because I'm kind of an idiot when I first start playing. and so gotta
No,
get
it's
accustomed to
fair.
the game.
And to be
Yeah,
honest, it has some weird difficulty spikes I've found in hard, where in some fights out of nowhere you're getting blasted. Like this dude had poison, and it literally I couldn't stand in the vicinity because his weapon would like ricochet, and just the AoE poison from it would take me from 100 to 0 before I could pop a heal. It was insane.
right.
So there are a lot of like balance issues, I think, for them to work on for hard to be like an enjoyable difficulty. The problem is that a lot of times normal feels a bit like a cakewalk
Yeah,
for me, you know. So it really there's no in between, which is the issue, because hard people become sponges and you are like this snowflake, right? People
yeah.
look at you in a bad way and you're down.
Yeah, no, that's I'm finding that that's the case as well. The normal at this point is just too easy. Now that I
Right.
kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then when I go to switch to hard, it's you get the bullet sponge.
You get some spikes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And my build is all based on, burst crit damage. So
Are
if
you
I'm
also an
wanna,
assault rifle, Andy?
no, I'm a
Oh.
pistol guy.
Oh, never expected that
Yeah.
from you.
Oh no, I love it. I can one shot him, shoot him in the face.
Pew, pew. So
Liberate
are you
brains from
going for
skulls.
like headshots and stuff?
Oh yeah, headshots all the time.
Woo, nice. I dig it, man. So what are what are the
at
attributes?
least my old age, I can do headshots.
Yeah, are you focusing like on a couple attributes, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing the pistols,
Yeah.
reflex, no reflex. I'm doing stealth, and then I'm splitting up technical. I've got 5 in intelligence for the hacking. I've got just enough hacking to where I can do most everything I need to. Yeah, I can do everything I need to do. But now it's just reflexes, stealth, and then crafting.
Wait, so you do stealth?
Hell yes.
Dude, I didn't imagine you like
build.
crouching around and whistling at dudes.
Oh yeah.
Somehow I always picture you going into a room like in Borderlands 3, like grenades.
There is definitely the base of the build is I go in stealth and I shoot them in the face and their head blows up, and then they until it alerts the other people. I mean, I'm still stealth, so it's more stealth because it gives me like 200% crit chance. That's why.
Right. Yeah. Colo, thank you for the 4 months, man. What is up? Happy hump day. No, it's not hump day. It's CATURDAY. But any day can be hump day. Welcome back, man.
And my cat, this is really early for me, and so my cat is she doesn't know what's going on. So she's freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, you're also a cat person, which is another reason for us to kind of sympathize. But I want to go back to before we move on, was there anything more like Cyberpunk that you wanted to touch on that's jumped to you?
No, I mean, the only other game I'm really waiting on is the new Far Cry.
I got another one for you. Have you looked at the Back 4 Blood game? The one with the big zombies? Not. So it's like Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I heard about this.
But with big zombos. They're like massive. So that's the twist. There's always a twist, right? World War Z was Left 4 Dead with the hordes. Mm-hmm. And so there's always like those games kind of take the formula and then do a spin on it. So I think it could be fun. Right. I got into the beta this weekend, so I'll let you know if it's fun for you to keep your eyes peeled if it turns out to be good.
No, yeah, I'd seen that pop up in my feed, and I was like, okay.
Could be a good multiplayer game to jump in.
Yeah, for Colo. I love Colo games.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's go to music a little bit, because I want to hear about your musical journey. A few months ago, you hit me up and you were like, "Yo, I'm starting on this," right? And you picked up a synthesizer, was it?
I did.
Yeah. So, and for a few months, you've been kind of going down the path, and I want to hear about your musical journey, man. Where are you at, and how are things?
Well, yeah, I'm a Rona producer, as we said, because apparently when the Rona hit, everybody got into music production.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I'm a Rona producer, and what I did is I use FL Studio, um, because I am still budget minded, and so you buy it once and you get it updated forever.
So just so people can follow us, FL Studio is a program that people use to like record either from instruments or virtual instruments and stuff like that.
Yep. And so I'm a techno guy, and so I actually found I did some lessons. I started with lessons with an actual YouTuber, and I did weekly lessons for a few months, and we've kind of slowed word salad, slowed that down because of holidays and work and everything else.
So was he teaching you? Is it a he?
It is a he.
So was he teaching you FL in particular, or?
Well, it's when I got to. Before I started with him, I made sure I learned the basics of FL, which took me about a month just to get, how do I use. Think about, for the people in the chat, think about starting Photoshop for the first time.
Overwhelming.
Video editing for the first time. There is so much.
Yeah.
I mean, working in, doing production for 2 years, you're still considered a noob. I mean, that's how.
Well, even that's what's funny, man, because even the people who are in the business and their livelihood is doing that shit, they always seem to have this attitude of this is an art and I am but a humble Padawan. And so there's I like this attitude of like people being learners in this space.
Yeah.
Because very rarely do you come across someone who's like, hey, I've got it all figured out. I got the keys to the kingdom. Instead, what you find is like, I'm on a journey. I've figured a lot of stuff out. Here's where I'm at. But, there's a lot of smarter people that I'm looking at and I'm learning stuff from them. And so I like this learner mentality that I find in this.
Oh, yeah. So, and so when I went to the instructor, I'd learned FL for the most part. I learned how to work the actual program.
Yeah.
So I got with him, and he's basically teaching me how to manipulate sound, basically. What does reverb do? What does distortion do? What is
right? Because specifically for your stuff, it's all digital, right? So
everything
you're doing techno music. It's virtual instruments. It's all like crafted via software, right? So there's a lot. It feels like a rabbit hole to understand how to even shape a sound. Yeah.
Well, and then you have different schools. You have sound design, which is really what I want to get into, is where you're taking what bit the bug. I've been toying with this for years, and the reason I never did it was because I knew if I did it, I would go deep. I would not, it'd be a problem. Deep.
Yeah.
And so what finally got it on me is I watched Andrew Huang does these videos. It's called 4 Producers, 1 Sample.
Okay.
And so he gives them a sample and he says, make a song out of this sample. And it's a short little thing. And there's 2 or 3 of them that I watched and I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. It's these 2 guys. One of them was Virtual Riot and the other was AU5. And so they took that sample and they just used that sample. And they made every instrument from that sample. And then made this freaking huge ballad of craziness that from this one little sample. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. That's one thing awesome, that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And so that's my end goal, is to learn how to do that. But
that's really interesting. Yeah, no, sorry, go on. So to get there, what's next?
You have to learn all the little things, like what the hell does reverb do? What does distortion do? What does granular synthesizer?
So many things.
What is it's just crazy. And so and the music that I listen to, that I'm very popular, that I grew up with, I'm old, so it's not popular anymore. And so I'm learning the new, the genres that I listen to how they evolved to now,
Right.
and what fits with what I, what do I like now? I'm having to learn how to listen to songs.
And do you find that now that you're listening to this new shit, let's say, right? Are your tastes evolving? Like you're actually starting to dig this new stuff? Or do you feel that the old shit is still like a step above?
Funny enough, the new stuff is a lot like the old stuff. At least the stuff that I like.
With a new
it's just changed
coat of paint.
A little bit. Yeah, it's the same. It's all ass shaker, man. I like the ass shaker stuff. That's what I like. And so yeah, no, like I still like techno. I like tech house. I like minimal stuff that you would hear at a rave. That's the stuff I like.
Right. So do
but
you
I'm
listen
also
to this stuff at home? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no,
like so you're at home, right? Cooking or chilling? Are you fucking raving?
Yeah. Oh no. If I'm like deep into work,
yeah.
I got a bunch of work stuff going. I'll put on Spotify, put on my like playlist, and just ching, ding, ding,
yeah,
yeah,
ass shake.
Yeah, get my groove on.
Nice.
Do the chair dance.
But it's interesting because you also play guitar, right?
I'm trying to. I don't play guitar, even though I have a guitar back there.
Yeah.
That's actually that is a guitar I redid back there. Interesting. I want to learn guitar, but what got me into guitar was more of the setup, the luthier part of guitar. I'm more interested in that. So what I bought a kit guitar, and the wood was not great, and so I just didn't want to spend the time to work on it because I just didn't think the wood was great.
This is interesting. Let me get this straight, right? So it sounds like what drives you is like you want to build the thing in some way, but you're not really keen on just like playing too much.
Right. I want to learn enough of the guitar so that I can test it after I've built it.
Yeah, you need to be able to like, hey, does this sound good, right? Does this sound
exactly right?
But it's not something that moves you, right? Like, oh, hey, I want to be like, like a great guitar player.
No, I much prefer a synthesizer.
Right. So you don't listen to any music that's like, let's say, mostly like analog guitar played.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay. Fair.
Not a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah, most of the stuff I listen to is digitally done. Yes, there's a swing. I forgot what it's called. Never mind.
No,
but it's more like
cool.
they take like 1920s music,
yeah,
and like swing music, but they put it to a techno bass line and drum line.
Yeah,
and I mean that's as close to normal as I would get. I would say.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting because I'm more of the analog world. When I make a song, 90% of it comes from outside of my computer. So either from my guitar amp or me singing or my acoustic or some instrument, right? Whereas for you, it's interesting because you're shaping all of your sounds in software.
Yes.
Right? So it's a whole different world, even though we're like doing the same thing, broadly speaking. It's almost like IT, where you have these, massive different areas of expertise where we could both be technically, IT developers, which we are, but, our areas of expertise potentially have very little overlap.
And it's funny you mention that because I'm just now experiencing that because my buddy, one of my best friends who got me into this, he's like you. He does guitar. He wants to record everything. He wants to play it and record, his physical playing.
Yeah.
And he's wanting to collab and do things, and I'm like, but I don't know how to do those things. They don't match what I do, so I have a hard time, putting those together. And that's the last song, like the one that you listened to, which I will definitely post.
Okay.
It's got guitars in it because I'm trying to learn how to put guitars with electronic music better.
Right.
so yeah, I have a bunch of guitar samples. I'm trying to learn with, so I can work with him and other artists like you. Like take some. See, I bought your stuff, or I got your samples,
Nice.
for your playing, and
Yeah.
I want to eventually, I want to take those samples and chop them to shit and make my
Mm.
own thing out of them.
Yeah, that would be
So
amazing. Like, I mean, I can give you more like naked sounds where it's just like based on a beat you have, maybe something that fits
right,
there. So we could work together on something. But I find it interesting because in music, so when you're like scoping out a song, there's this concept of the space in the song. So, for example, if you have a guitar solo, you're normally not like singing over it because those would be like overlapping frequencies in some way. So it would all be like a mush. You can't hear the singing well, you can't hear the solo well because it's like in the same frequency. So a lot of the times you're trying to get this like nice, you know, you have your low end from the bass and the drums, right? They give you like the bass, this like little sitting space for then the middle frequency stuff like guitars and voice to have the, let's say, the most, I guess, the most noticeable spotlight in there. So it's always like a play of frequency. But in your stuff, it almost feels to me, my naive ear, I haven't listened to a lot of techno stuff. It sounds to me like a wall of sound. Like there's no
yes,
space for me to get in there and do like a little line. You know what I mean?
well, and that's the thing. It's funny you were talking about that because the part that I enjoy the most, that I've found is mixing.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's a
Making
whole.
this one louder, this one softer, putting things, taking this out, putting this in, making space for things. But yeah, techno, that's a big part of it with techno because you want to use every bit of the spectrum. And
Right.
with electronic music production, even with regular production, it's all, like you said, it's all about plugging the sound, making space for whatever sound it is. If
Right.
you've got vocals going on a guitar, you're gonna sidechain your guitar to your vocals, so your vocals, the primary up ahead.
Yeah.
Or they call it masking, a different way. But yeah, I love that part of it. That's the part that really is like, ooh, I need to fill
Yeah.
up the space.
For me,
what can I put here?
what I find the most fun about that is when I have a song, a lot of times the way it plays out for me is that so I put in like a lot of different instruments. So on a track, even if it's like a heavy track, I might have an acoustic guitar playing throughout the entire thing, but maybe I don't have it audible at all. But then in some songs, what I find is there are moments where you can like give the spotlight to it. Like maybe it's 15 seconds where the other stuff kind of dies down a little bit and you kind of hear that acoustic in the and you give it that little spotlight. And I find it fun to move the spotlight throughout the song. Like, in this verse, the keyboards is kind of coming in and you're hearing this nice cold melody with the singing, for example. Maybe in this other verse, it's the bass, right? The bass is doing something cool and you're hearing it a bit more because I'm popping it in your right ear a bit. So I love being this kind of DM mastermind playing with like what you're
just shape it how you want it.
Yeah, what's in your face at each point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a big appeal is because you have control over everything. So you can do what you want. And it's kind of wonderful that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool, man. So what's next for you? Are you just working on some tunes at the moment?
I am actually I set out to my goal right now is to make a new intro song for stream and new alert sounds.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there thinking I was like, I'm doing production now, and I know if I don't know enough that I can't make my own alert sounds for Twitch, then I need to stop. So I figure I need to get that done and get a new intro done with all this copyright stuff happening. Make my own so they can't hit me.
Yeah, man, that's a good goal. It's something tangible, like you're gonna reap the benefits. Yeah. That's cool.
But right now I'm kind of in a dead spot, or I'm just kind of my creativity is shit right now. So,
dude,
it's
I have that. Yeah, those like dry
yeah,
spells
yeah,
where
yeah,
you go there, you reach out, and there's nothing.
yes,
There's
yeah.
nothing
I've started
inspiring
a few things, and I'm just like,
happens. Yeah,
it's not there. It's just
that's
not there.
why you know the biggest. I have no like fix for that, by the way, but I have one thing that helps, which is remove all the friction around recording. So the moment something pops in, like some creativity, like maybe, I'm fucking around and something on guitar is like, whoa, that popped. There's zero friction for me to jump in and record it. Because I have the guitar right here, the amp is here, I turn it on, everything is fucking ready in the computer, right? So there's zero friction. So I find that's the best you can do. Because then when the creativity hits, you're fucking ready, right? And you record something, because if you don't record it at that point, it's gone. It's like a dream. When you wake
We are
up,
on the same page.
you still remember it a bit, but a few moments after, it's gone, right? And I find that's exactly the same with like music ideas.
Oh yeah, I do something very similar. And that's actually part of the problem is I haven't had time to do it.
Right.
Which is I'll take like you, because you're using a guitar, you're playing a guitar, you have everything ready. What I'll do is I use samples, and I have a shit ton of samples. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll go say, okay, let's listen to some guitars, and I'll listen to some guitar, samples, and go, and I'll listen to, and that's actually this is what tends to spark. Is I'll just go through and I'll listen to sample loops. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's something along the lines I want to use. So I'll go ahead and throw that in. Sorry, I hit my mic. I'll throw that in, and I'll start building a song around that. And then I'll eventually take that out and make my own of that. But it's a good starting point.
Yes.
It gets you there.
It gets you going. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, but you have to be able to do it. And that's the problem I've had is I just haven't had time to sit there and just listen to samples lately.
Fair.
So it's, holidays, COVID, work.
Yeah,
kind of
man.
Crazy.
So you are a Texan, right?
I am a Texan.
You're a Texan. How are things in Texas? America.
Yeah. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm scared to leave the house. So, because there's a lot of people that still don't wear masks.
Take
I think
precautions.
It's a hoax. Yeah, it's no.
I think
so I hide out in my house.
Americans have been getting a lot of shit lately, but I've seen that be a pattern in a lot of countries where people, aren't taking precautions and aren't taking it seriously. Like here in the UK, I see it. My dad in Spain sees it. So I don't think it's just you guys. It's a bigger problem, but of course, you guys are a bit more in the spotlight lately.
So no, I'm definitely, Texas is its own thing. It's kind of its own little. Texas is Texas.
It's giant.
When people ask where you're from, you say Texas, people know. Okay,
dude, it's like a country. We were talking about it the other day. Yeah. You could like drive from one end to the other end of Texas for like what, 10 hours?
16 hours.
It's giant.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, I live kind of in the smack dab center. We call it the asshole of Texas.
Deep Texas.
So yeah, it's 8 hours to one side of the border. It's 6 hours to the other side of the border. It's 6 hours to get to any kind of border where I'm at. And then Texas also has, I live in the desert part of Texas, and then there's the swamp part of Texas. There's the coast part of Texas. There's the north part of Texas. It has different. It's like 4 or 5 different states.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah.
The swamp part sounds like a disaster. Oh.
So
baseball gear, what's up? Happy CATURDAY. Yeah, but dude, give me, because as someone who, yeah, I've moved around a lot, right? So I was born in Brazil. I lived in Spain many years. Now in the UK. It feels like every place I've been is like really different on like the day to day and like the cultural feel of the people and stuff. So help me understand a little bit, how is it to live in Texas? For example, like, is there transport, or do you have to fucking, ride a horse and shit? Like
A horse and shit.
No, I'm joking. But like, I guess, do you have to drive
No,
everywhere?
you say that. There are people that ride
transport?
horses.
Yeah.
You'll see a horse on the side of the
Yeah.
roads. Yeah, people riding horses. No, when you say no, we have buses.
Okay.
I mean, I live in rural Texas. I don't live in I live in what's considered a city for rural. So where I live is around 100,000 people.
Okay.
But everywhere else uses here as the hub for we're their big town. So they come here to shop at Walmart and things like that.
Yeah.
But you have to have a car to live here. There's no
way around
I mean, it takes me. No, I mean, I'm not riding my bike to the grocery store. My closest grocery store is 10 minutes to 11 minutes away.
Yeah.
By car, going 50 miles an hour. So
right. If you were to ride and then you forget the butter, it's disaster.
Oh yeah, well, and again, you got my fat asses. I'm gonna get halfway there and be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna sit down and die." So I need a car.
Well, with the desert sun too, right? So
well, yeah. We're actually pretty cold now. Right now, we're in the 50s of 50s Fahrenheit.
Okay, yeah, that's like what, low? No, 15-ish.
It's chilly.
See, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
So someone look it up. I'm not familiar with my freedom degrees.
Yeah, freedom degrees, freedom units.
Colo, get out of here! You need butter. Colo is trying to switch out my butter for non-processed products. Get out of here.
So
I love you, Colo.
It's very flat here. I mean, you go out and it's not as flat as Kansas, but it's pretty damn flat. I mean, our visibility is 30 or 40 miles.
Right.
When I'm driving, that's the other thing is I have to drive 3 hours to the doctor. I mean, that tells you where I'm at.
Dude, it's 10 Celsius? I didn't know it got so cold in Texas.
It freezes. We freeze.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know in summer, you're like barely surviving. You have AC and fans and shit.
Well, I've got a fan going. I got 2 fans going now.
Why would you have? It's 10C.
Because my computer is a freaking space heater, man. Water cooling is very efficient at taking heat from the computer and putting it out into the room. So, yeah, very, very warm in here.
So, it just dawned on me what you said about it being flat, and Spaniard is saying Nebraska as well. It's not just the ground. You're also saying like the houses and shit, they're not very tall, right? So you can really, if you look at the horizon, you can see like a good ways down, right?
Yeah. There's no reason to go vertical because there's enough horizontal space.
Yeah. Yeah. People never found the need to plop
you don't need to go up.
Flats on top of other stuff.
Just like my gut. It goes out, not up. It's
That's interesting, man. How do you find it? Like, do you like living in Texas?
Well, see, here's the thing. My lifestyle is pretty simple.
Right.
I sit right in this chair like most of the time.
So for you, it's as good as any place. Like, as long as it's...
Yeah, the reason I stay here is I have really good internet for what I do for cheap. And my cost of living here is next to nothing.
That's pretty great. And I think Texas has like a really low interest rate, right?
Well, we don't have a state income tax. So yeah, I don't pay state income tax.
What do you mean?
Okay,
my brain can't process this. So you're saying
in the US,
no, stop everything. You're saying you don't pay every month a slice of your income to the government?
No, I do, just not to the state.
Oh.
There's two different kinds of taxes in the U.S.
Oh, because you guys have the whole shebang with states and federal.
You got federal government and state government. Federal government, I have to pay. I'm self-employed, so I actually pay more taxes in federal taxes. But in the U.S., most states have an app. You have to pay a state tax to fund state government. In Texas, and there's a couple others, I don't know where they are, but definitely in Texas, we don't have a state tax. All our taxes come from sales tax. So everything you buy has a certain percentage of tax on it for the state, and also for the county that you're in.
Okay.
And so our sales tax is much higher than most everybody else's, but we don't pay a state tax. So that's how they get around it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's
a lot cheaper to live here.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like a good setup, to be honest. I'm kind of jealous. I'm like, I'm paying a lot of taxes to the queen. No, it's okay. We got some good stuff from it. Do you guys have like help from the state? Like, in this time of turmoil and shit, do you have like relief? What is it called?
In Texas?
Yeah, like respite check. No relief.
No. No. Texas is full on the denial train, sir.
Oh. It's bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Texas is a red state, so we'll say that.
It's rough.
Yeah. And where I live, I live in the very conservative part of Texas.
Deep.
Deep red.
Entrenched. Yeah. Oh man.
This last election, I think it was the ratio was like 80-10 or 80-20 or 80-15, something like that.
Wow, pretty lopsided. Yeah.
Very. So I'm behind enemy lines. And so I'm scared to go out. So COVID really didn't change much.
That's interesting, man. I mean, it sounds like a decent place to live as long as you say, you mostly stay in. Like it works, right?
I'm a hermit. Shut in these days.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out? Like, hey, I should be out there in the park.
Okay. I will nip this one in the bud. I have lived. I spent my 20s and a lot of my 30s having a good damn time. A real good time. So I have no
I love
regrets.
The way you say that.
I have done my time.
Okay.
It's time to relax, is what it is. It's time to relax.
No, that's fair, man. And I kind of feel you in the same way. I feel like I'm in the phase where I'm good indoors. Like, I don't yearn for much from outside, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah.
But let's move on real quick, because I wanted to talk to you about what you do for work. Because you're an IT guy, like I am.
I am.
But help me understand, what is it that you do? Because I think you're like maintaining databases. Is that more or less it? No,
not at all.
Give me the rundown. What is it you do?
I'm a network guy. So what I do is I do ISP networking.
Okay.
So I do rural internet. Elon Musk is going to put me out of business. But that's where I'm at right now.
That's called what is it called? Space.
Starlink.
Starlink. I got it wrong.
Yeah.
SpaceNet was a better name, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I know. Everybody's waiting to see how that's going to go, because traditionally what he's trying to do has been absolute shit. It just doesn't work.
So what he's trying to do is basically like satellite internet, or like 4G, right? Yeah.
But see, the problem is it's all good now when only like 20 people are on it. When you get 4,000 people on it, things tend to get fucked up.
Well, it depends. It also depends like what you need to use it for. I tried it for streaming and it's unusable because there's so much fluctuation in the bit rate that it's impossible for you to have a reliable like stream, for example?
Right. So basically what I do is I work with your upstream providers, like AT&T, Verizon, Level 3, Cogent, the people who provide who maintain the fiber lines, the big hubs in your big cities. And so I take those feeds that they give me and I spread, basically I give those to all our customers, all my customers.
So how are you?
Yeah.
What magic is that you're patching from like Verizon to someone's router? Like,
yeah,
are you like taking their
how the internet
details
works.
and like manually setting that up?
Well, no, basically we buy, we get bandwidth from the up guys and we do our own thing. Just like, any other company would do. I'm just not feeding an office. I'm feeding a town or a couple towns.
So is it the companies contracting you? Like Verizon reaches out, is like, hey.
No, I'm with smaller guys. I'm with people that we buy our stuff from, like Verizon.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm way down on the totem pole there. Way down.
No, that's fine. So you guys have like a company, you and a few other people. Is that it? Like a small organization?
No, I'm a contract worker. I work with a couple of ISPs.
Okay. So you get pulled in when they have jobs.
Well, I'm a constant. I maintain and manage the networks.
Always on.
So I designed most of them. So it's when a problem happens, instead of 3 or 4 hours, I can usually fix it in a couple minutes, just because I've been doing it. I'm familiar with the networks and I've just been doing it for so damn long. So.
But that also means you can get paged at any time, right?
Yeah, I'm a 24/7.
Do you have any backup, any redundancy or something where like you trade weeks with people?
No, it's all me.
You're always on?
Always
Dude,
on.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. Rough. I'm finally in my new position. I have no on-call, which I'm like...
Yeah, nice.
Thank the gods.
Well, that's my stick. It really is that I answer the phone at any time. So
yeah, you're the guy you're a fixer, right? You're the guy they call when they need to fix it.
When the shit hits the fan, I'm the guy they call. But usually I know about the shit hitting the fan before they do, and I can fix it before it's even known.
You're always like monitoring.
Yeah, I have stuff set up to let me know when something happens.
That's really cool, man.
You'll hear it on the stream every once in a while. When I start streaming, you hear this god awful sound, and that is
I think I remember because we used to play together, and like you had this alert sound, and I would be like, what's happening?
Yes,
it's like, oh, it's obnoxious. Fine. It's just a page. ODM knows.
I mean, that's basically what I do. Is I'm a glorified telephone repair guy, is what I am.
I think there's more to it than I think you sell yourself short. So going back to, I think you're too modest. Going back to that. But dude, what's so you talked about modifying guitars and stuff. Is that something that's still popping? Like, are you still working on that stuff?
Well, I never did finish talking about that guitar, did we?
No, it came up, but we never got into that guitar. Yeah, because I'm interested. Because I'm looking at it the whole time.
So what happened? What got me started was my buddy, who's the production guy.
Yeah.
We went out to a pawn shop, and he's like, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get a guitar, and you're gonna show me how to do the setup stuff, and I'm gonna get into this, and we'll be good. So we go to the pawn shop, and we find a guitar that we think is, pretty good. I'll go ahead and buy it, and he gets it all set up, shows me all the stuff that I've been researching, and I was like, okay, cool, it's just starting to make sense now. And then I start doing some research on the guitar, and I find out that when you buy it new, it sells for the same price that I bought it at the pawn shop for.
Huh.
So me being me, I held a grudge. The guitar was dead to me. It was so pissed off. that I
Yeah.
paid too much for that guitar. So, you know, it pretty much just sat there, and that's a big problem because it's stupid. I know it's stupid petty shit, but it's it is what it is. So I held a grudge against that guitar, and so I never played the guitar.
But it's not the guitar's fault.
I know it's stupid. I know it's stupid. I know. So my buddy finally, he's like, hey, you know, somebody was moving out in his neighborhood, and they were throwing out that guitar.
Yeah.
Back there. He's like, what are you gonna do with this? And she's like, oh, you can have it.
Fuck?
So he got the guitar for free.
Was it broken?
Nope. It was perfectly fine.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I'll trade you my pawn shop guitar, which he really loves, for that new one you got for here. So you're win-win. You get the guitar you like, I get a guitar that's not the one I hate, and we can do.
I have to side with the guitar on this one.
I know
you do. It's highly unfair. Okay.
It is. But it's with a new home, and it's being loved.
Okay, fine.
It's okay.
I'll let it go.
So,
but so what have you done to this one?
So, like I said, I bought a kit to build a guitar, and the wood just sucked.
Yeah.
And so I never did it. And so what it is, I took all the parts from that, and this is a Squire, a Fender Squire, which is just made to be gutted and redone. So I took all the good parts that I bought, put them in the Squire, and now the thing sounds like a dream.
So you got like pickups, all the different, you know, connection bits, circuitry stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that's the same on that guitar is the neck, the body, and the top of the bridge. The weight on the bridge has been replaced with a bigger one, so the resonance is much better.
The actual bridge is the same, is the Strat bridge.
Yeah,
the Squire.
I basically got it hard-tailed. I'm not going to use the tremolo. So
why not, my dude? You need the wax stick.
Nah.
No?
Nah. Like I said, I just need to know enough to get it by. And so I put new pickups in it. They're hand wound, based on the 60s, the 60s sound. And then I've got locking tuners that I put in it.
Hell yeah.
So
nice, man. And it looks cool. I see nice you put like black fixings right on the pickups and on the. It's a cool look for a guitar.
And the guitar pick, it has a black center on the outline.
Right.
So it's white, black, and white. So yeah, it's kind of zebraed out a little bit. I kind of like it.
It's classy, man.
See, I'm not holding a grudge against this guitar. I like this guitar.
I'm still a little mad, but we'll move on.
I knew that when we get you.
So what's next? Because you mentioned you want to go back to streaming. Do you have like a time frame for that where people can like be fucking following you now and like fucking ready for when it happens?
Whenever I can get a 5900X and a 3080, then yeah, we're good to go. That's all I'm waiting on.
Yeah. So wait, do you want to get a 5900X?
Yes.
You madman. Why do you need that beast?
Music production.
No, you don't. You don't need that much. You just want the big with all the cores.
I want you to. Now I do want the cores.
Yeah.
But it's also a higher. It's also a higher single thread performance, which is what you want from music production.
Hear me out, right? The 5600X has on benchmarks basically the same like single core processing.
You're absolutely correct, sir. I'm not going to argue with this.
It's great for games. It does everything you need and it's
I'm all about it.
But you want the big one.
I'm also going to be doing video rendering.
So, it will do great, my dude. I think, as modest as you are, you want the big one.
I do want the big one. I do want the big one. But I will settle for a 5800. Whatever I can get my hands on. It's really whatever comes up for sale and I can get my grubby hands on.
That's fair, dude. And you said a 3070 for graphics?
No, I'm going to do a 3080 Ti if I can get one, or a 3080.
But how come? Because I thought, so you're like, I want the biggest one for CPU, but you're okay with not the biggest one for GPU?
I don't see the value in a
out?
3090. I don't see the 3090 is just not, it's not there for me.
I can't blame you, but it's the biggest.
It is.
Think about it. You could have a more powerful card.
My EP is not that big. I'm okay with it.
Sometimes
that's a lot of money.
I laugh at it because I see it so often. People are like, yo, I'm getting, the 5900X with the 3090, and I'm the first one to admit I got a 3090. But the main reason I did was because any other was unavailable and was going to be unavailable for months, right? So it was either get a 3090 now and play Cyberpunk and be able to stream it, or jump off the train, right? And I jumped on the overpriced train. But I'm the first one to be like, think about what you're buying, because also, it's a bit wasteful, right? If you're running a rig that's sucking in massive amounts of energy where you don't really need it, then, you could have saved that money as well and like do some other stuff. So I think there's a bit of hype for just like having the greatest thing.
No, for the video card, I need at least a 380 or 3080 for my monitor.
So what's the resolution on your
3440 by 1440?
3440. So that's not what's it called? Because there's ultra wide and then there's like balls to the wall. Crazy
there's that 40,
madman.
There's that
5K.
No, this is this is a an Alienware. It actually apparently is still pretty good to today's standards. But yeah, it's almost wide enough to do two 1080p windows.
Right.
Almost. So, and it's 42 inches wide, or 38 inches wide. It's right around 40 inches wide.
Yeah.
But it takes up most of my day.
As they say, it's a good length. But
it is. It's got some girth to it.
It's got some girth. But do you find it practical for what you do? Like,
very much
be
so.
Honest. Okay.
No. That's exactly why I still have it. Because for work, I am not a full screen guy. You're an IT guy. You'll understand this.
Yeah.
You have full screen guys and you have Windows guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Windows guy.
You want to have everything there.
Yeah, I have everything segmented out on my screen. So I have Discord up here, email here, browser here. On another thing, I got stats. So I'm a Windows guy. So I can switch between the windows, which in FL Studio works very well for me. Oh yeah,
dude. When you see the whole timeline or like video editing, it is dope. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gaming. I initially bought this because of the workflow stuff.
Yeah.
And then the gaming stuff just wasn't there. And now it is. So I'm excited that I'm going to get to use my full monitor.
It's getting there, especially for some of the games you tend to play, like Borderlands 3. I think Division 2 had good support as well.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, it looked great in widescreen. It's just streaming, single player Division 2 ultra wide is very playable. I was getting in 80s or 90s FPS, which is anything over 80 for me is good.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And then but if I streamed, it would drop below 60. And not below 60, but below 70, and I just couldn't play. And it was choppy. Even with the secondary PC streaming.
I was gonna say that's even with a second PC.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because the OBS takes enough CPU because that's a CPU heavy game.
Right. So I think the issue was that even though you're using two PCs, because you're using NDI, what you need for that is you actually need to run OBS on your gaming PC, capture the footage on your gaming PC, and then send it over, basically, right?
Yep, but then you get into ultra wide, and that becomes a big pain in the ass.
And that's a pain in the ass, because the way I do it, I also have two PCs, but I use an internal capture card, So my gaming PC has no idea that it's streaming, right? It's
Right.
just sending out the image through the capture card that's in the other PC. So then there's like
Correct.
zero
Yeah, because
interference.
you do a screen, like a screen copy thing, and send one out the other
That's
HDMI to your.
Yeah.
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 See, with the ultra wide, it would try and send the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then
you would have
usually
to
a lot of the
manage
capture
that
cards
in some weird
don't
way.
know what to do with it. Yeah,
I think some of the newer ones can handle it, but it's just a weird res for
yeah,
them.
it's very funky from what I've seen. They're getting there because ultra wides are becoming a whole lot more popular.
Yeah, and now you have like Elgato and others have true 4K 60 FPS cards,
right?
Which they would be able to handle that bandwidth, let's say, that you need, but I don't know whether or not it actually works.
Well, I'm hoping with the new, I'm going to try a single PC again once I get a 3080.
I think that single PCs are better than ever now because, you can use your RTX card, GPU card,
right,
to encode. And sure, maybe it isn't as sharp as, pure CPU encoding, but it's pretty close. Especially like, for someone growing a channel is perfectly fine. And so you could, get away with just one computer and then having, these new CPUs that have more headroom with more cores.
That's what I'm hoping.
That's where all your cores, right, are going to help you with that streaming as well if you want to do it. Hell, dude, with the one you're getting, you can do like CPU encoding while playing a game, and I could see that working, but we'll have to test it. You'll have to let me know, man. I'm excited to.
I would love to test it. I just need a CPU to do it with.
All right, everybody. So FatHedonist, make sure to give him a follow, and streams coming soon there. Listen, man, it's been a pleasure to chat with you, and I hope you stay well, and hope to see a little more of you, because I know you've been, really kind of busy and sort of stressed out with all the stuff that's going on. But
yep.
Dude, do you have any last thoughts, comments, suggestions, criticisms?
Be safe, be good.
All right, man. Much love. Stay well. Talk to you soon.
All right.